Welcome back, everyone. Three massive games for your Saturday slate: the Warriors, Rabbitohs, Titans, Dragons, and the Storm v Panthers. And very interesting. I think I'm going to be loading up on a lot of Rabbitohs players in this section, and potentially a lot of middles in the Storm Panthers, which is going to make sense. And then Titans, Dragons, the few random outside backs, I think is going to be an interesting one here. But we'll get kicked off in that outside back section, and someone I think who is probably a little bit too expensive at the moment is Moses Sully to come up ahead of Campbell Graham, Taylor May. These kind of guys, when you look at the form, look at the averages, are much lower than those two, just looking at from a surface level. But Graham, I think, is a big option this week. Him and Alex Johnson, the two guys from the Rabbitohs, I think are clear options this week up against the Warriors, who have really been struggling. And the Souths need a bounce-back game. They're coming ninth at the moment. So they're two guys I'd be looking to select in your sides this week. I'd probably be avoiding the guys from Melbourne and Penrith in terms of options in this 3-game slate. If you're thinking about in their games only, in their single game, then guys like Olam could be interesting. Taylor May is obviously going to finish off a bunch of plays as well, and whether you're going for To'o, I think is really, really cheap as well at 14.8 in that game if you're going to play that one. But if you're just going for this overall one, then Graham and Johnson are keys for you to be winning this round, I think, definitely for sure. And then if you're going a little bit light, I think guys like Philip Sammy are very, very interesting at 11,440, been super consistent in around that mid 30s. And I think if you can get that, and if he can potentially score a try against the St. George Dragons, I think he could definitely be a solid option in your side. And that's probably the only place I'd be going in the outside backs. And if we're moving to the halves and the hookers position there, obviously the middles, I said, in that Storm and Panthers game could be very interesting. But obviously, guys like Harry Grant could be super dominant as well. And Munster's a big game player. Cleary could come out and kick for 700 meters and win the game for him as well. So all great options, and I think you can definitely win with either of those three. I think Cook's going to be a great option as well, but obviously that bit more expensive. And I think Cody Walker is probably the one that could come out and dominate this week. He's had a bunch of good games, a bunch of low games as well, but they come up against the Warriors, and this is kind of a game where he can come out and dominate. But 18,400, obviously a little bit steep, but it is what it is. You're going to have to pick one of those top guys, and he could be the one. Lockie Ellis, I think, could have a solid game as well up against the Warriors at 12,540. Obviously coming off a decent couple of games here, 41 and a 44.7 in 2 of his last 3 games. And Brandon Smith there, I think, as I said, the middles in that Melbourne and Penrith game could be the way to go. And you get him at 11-1. And he's got 248s in his last 3 games. So I definitely think he's potentially a one to bring into your side as more of that boom guy. If you have him and he goes well in the mid-40s, 50, then you're a good chance of going well in your league. So that's that with the halves and the hookers. I don't think there's anyone else really to think about apart from, Tyron Wishart, who has actually just got promoted into the wing, the fullback spot with Nick Meaney moving to the wing. So Wishart should have a decent enough game. Obviously, you're up against Penrith, so I can't see him going incredibly well. But if you need someone cheap in the flex, if you're going pretty hard in the other 3 sections, then Wishart could be interesting at 9K. All right. Forwards, a very interesting one here. I think Colin Matangi is due for another try, especially against the Warriors there. With on the right-hand side for him, the left-hand side defense for Warriors, Ewan Aiken is out this week. They obviously get Torhul back, but he'll be on the other side. So, a few things to think about with that, with Colin Matangi getting a potential try there. Other guys I think could be really dominant. Isaiah Yeo, I think he'll get the 80 minutes this week and score big. So I think Isaiah is the man to play there. Tavanga's moving to the hooker position, so he could have a pretty solid game in defense, as well as running the ball a little bit there with up against the South, but just be prepared that they could get dominated here. Jai Arrow will be playing some bigger minutes through the middle this week in the 13 role. So he's been moving from the edge to the middle during games, but this time he's going to get that bigger full 50-55 minutes through the middle and play that Cam Murray role, or attempt to, with how good he's been going. So that's Jai Arrow there. And then anyone else lower down the list, I think Fisher Harris is due for a big game. As I said, those middles in that game, Joshy King, Nelson Asof Solomona, could all have great games as well at that cheaper price if you need to go that little bit lower. Liam Martin could be solid as well, but he's a bit more on and off. I feel like you can get real good games from King, just in the tackles. If it can be a lower scoring game, he's going to get 45, 50 tackles and get you a 45 to 50. So I think that's the solid way to play. And obviously lower down the list, you've got guys like Leota, who started a little bit slow And you got Kafusi and obviously Bromwich in the 10,000s as well for that game. Sorensen off the bench could do solidly as well. And same with Spencer Leniu. So all options there, and probably the only guys that I would look to select in that lower forward section would be those Panthers guys off the bench. That's probably the way I'd be looking at it. And I wish all the guys all the best of luck. If you haven't signed up yet to Draftstars, I have that link in the description below. Hit that and get you signed up and get you ready to play in these contests. Some of these individual ones as well, and then it's collective Saturday one where you can really test your skills and your picks. Really, like it's obviously much harder in this one to go, oh, how do I manipulate the salary cap to suit me and get lots of value out of it? So there you go, guys. That's our video. We'll catch you in the Sunday video.